Welcome to the Customer Engagement Track. Stay tuned for 3 days of learning, giveaways, and fun. Thank you to our keynote speakers for sharing their accessibility and technology stories. And thank you for being part of the Dynamics user group community.
Most companies today are looking for a better way to communicate and provide customized business documents to their customers. But these customizations can be time-consuming, as these documents are typically generated using legacy processes that are error-prone, and most importantly, require IT resources to make updates that may not meet their changing business needs. Don't you wish you could produce these documents quickly and effectively without having to learn a whole new system? ExpertDoc lets you do just that. Our scalable document generation solution automates processes and document workflows within your enterprise's core systems and empowers business users and developers to create better documents faster. Visit our website today to learn more about ExpertDoc. ExpertDoc, better documents faster.
Let's welcome our first speakers of the day. Asim Afridi, a senior solution architect, and Ali Khan, a practice lead. Today, they will be presenting what it takes to be a Dynamics 365 superhero. Don't forget to enter questions in the conference chat, where our speakers are ready to engage with you.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Welcome to this session where we will talk superheroes. Sounds fun, right? Let's get started. We have some exciting content to unpack with you guys, and I'm super excited to do a little bit of storytelling today. When I grow up, I want to be a superhero. Imagine how many little girls and boys have said this. But for kids, this list of superheroes is never ending, right? But we all aspired to be superheroes when we were young. We all dreamt of being a superhero, being able to have some special superpowers, being able to help others, maybe team up with other superheroes. So it means there must be lots of superheroes around us, right? Well, at least my daughter thinks so. Surprise, surprise. Well, it appears there aren't that many superheroes as we would like to think. Yes, that's true. We as Microsoft Business Apps community are not self-sufficient enough when it comes to superheroes. Or simply put it in another way, we don't have enough superheroes to fight all what's coming. Isn't that worrying or awakening? Well, it was for me. We definitely need more Dynamics 365, Power Platform, Azure, Microsoft 365, and other Microsoft technology superheroes. And we need lots of them to face what's coming next. Let's talk about it. On this slide, you can see forecasts of public cloud revenues up to 2025. And you can see how rapidly the revenues are projected to grow in public cloud market worldwide. This number is showing more than 700% growth between 2016 and the projected numbers for 2025. And we all know with this massive growth, the demand for resources well-versed on cloud technologies will also increase tremendously. So now you may start to have some idea what I was talking about, right? Let's quickly look at another projection. This is for CRM market. Spend per employee for CRM market globally. This is forecasted to almost double between 2020 and 2025. Wow. Who saw that coming? So now you know what is coming and why we need to gather more superheroes. And if we look at the past, Microsoft is developing value-driven cloud-based solutions for organizations of all sizes. And if you look at the numbers for last 5 years or so, for commercial cloud revenue, Microsoft's vision for cloud-based offerings is really paying off. And did you know that one of the top challenges for digital transformations globally is the skills gap? The demand for digital skills is growing rapidly. And we need to pull together many superheroes to face an era, what we can term as unprecedented growth era for digital and cloud offerings. Moving on, this is story time. So my name is Asim Afridi, and I'm working as a solution architect with the US-based solution provider, Dynamic Consulting. I come with almost 2 decades of professional experience. But wait a minute, most of you may already know all of this information, right? Well, today, I really want to talk a little bit about my journey. Actually, today is the best opportunity to share my story with you guys. So, my journey started with Dynamics, starting on versions 3.0, 4.0, and eventually landing with AX 2009. From a role perspective, I started off as a business analyst. Also did some quality assurance and testing work on older versions of AX. This work led me to functional consulting on AX 2009 and AX 2012. On a related note, I did get my hands dirty with some development work on AX 2012. Funny enough, I also briefly worked on CRM 2016 version. I tried to learn a little bit of Power BI back in 2015 when it was released for public. I've been working with Dynamics 365 line of business applications for last 5 years or so now. In last couple of years, I tried to learn about Power Platform, which exposed me to this transformative, or should I say revolutionary platform, and the range of possibilities that come with it. So finally, after doing a little bit of everything, business analyst work, quality assurance, development, functional consulting, I ended up becoming a solution architect for Dynamics 365 F&O. Another way of looking at my journey is my evolution on how I explored and acquired knowledge about different modular verticals within AX and Dynamics 365 F&O. I started off with financials. And let me come clean here. I'm not an accountant by background. I did an engineering degree in computers, but I was inquisitive enough in a good way to learn about the basics of how finance processes work, how companies do consolidations, why do businesses even need financial statements, how does depreciation work, and so on. So at one point, I was thrown in some large projects involving retail, which was a completely new domain for me to learn. And I tried to explore a lot about how retail store operations work, what kind of different channels are used in retail, how a store operates from a logistics perspective, how critical inventory visibility is in retail. The list goes on. Similar story for supply chain. I was thrown in supply chain implementation projects, did a little bit of learning about warehouse management, how inventory is managed, how picking, packing, and delivery processes work, how order fulfillment goes about, manufacturing processes, products management, and so on. In summary, all these learnings for different types of vertical focuses within Dynamics 365 F&O really helped me become a better solution architect, because with each learning and each exposure, my vision of business knowledge broadened, and so did my view about Dynamics 365 and its capabilities. Like everyone's journey, mine also included lots of challenges. Today, I will only briefly cover two of those, which are related. And I faced these earlier in my career, starting functional consulting. And I know a lot of fresh or new functional consultants or aspiring functional consultants can relate to these challenges. At the high level, these challenges may sound trivial, but believe me, at the start of your consulting career, none of this sound trivial. So as consultants, we need to work with clients day in, day out. And those clients can be in different geographies, different industries. And even if you work within a particular industry focus, such as manufacturing or field service, a number of clients talk their own language, use their own terminology. Learning about their specific businesses, their peculiar processes, their local geographical demands can be tricky. Well, it was for me immensely. And I had hard time figuring out myself on how to talk clients' language, learn their businesses quickly. So the second one somehow related to the first challenge. And this is again relating with consultants working with a multitude of industries: manufacturing, logistics, retail, financial services, not-for-profit, and even public sector. And I know when you are new to consulting, a lot of questions, what's and how's, rumble across your mind. Do I really need to know about everything about these industries I'm working with? How do I learn about logistics? Who would teach me about retail? And so on. Each challenge and each journey makes you learn something new. So did my own challenges. Firstly, in order to be on the same page with our clients, I learned that we really need to invest some time researching and reading about those businesses and their industry, ideally well before you start working with them. So think of it as a pre-preparation. Try and do research on their industry, their local geographical focuses and needs, their business model, their corporate structures, who their target customers are, What is it that they do in their industry that they are doing really well or maybe not so well as compared to their competitors, and so on. And believe me, this saying here is true, that preparation meets opportunity, and it helped me. Secondly, on the industries, let me be brutally honest. As a consultant, you can't be an expert in everything or every industry domain. You may excel in one or two industry knowledge areas, but more importantly, we as consultants need to try and gleam and shine our consulting skills so that we can easily work with different stakeholders at various levels in diverse set of industries easily while relying on our base knowledge of consulting tools and techniques. Moving on in my journey. So some of the things that went right in my story, and to be true, not too much credit to me, were mentorship and learning. And let me tell you about it. One of the best things that happened to me during my consulting journey was being able to find good mentors and connecting with them. And believe me, you learn way much faster in different directions, in different better directions, and in way much faster and different better directions with a good mentor is guiding you. So you may not have answers to everything you may ask, but they may guide you who may have those answers. So my word of advice, especially for those who are new to consulting, find and connect with good mentors, learn from their consulting stories, learn from their journeys, ask them a lot of questions. Secondly, never ever say no to any chance of learning. And I know this sounds like a basic advice, but with this attitude, you can really master any skill set, specifically in technology. It is changing so fast. We all need to keep on learning in order to keep ourselves up to date. So let's talk about key learnings I acquired during my own journey. First one I want to share is simply being part of community, a team, or simply a culture of sharing. And believe me, sharing is awesome. Community is awesome. As they say, birds of feather fly together. Let me add to this saying, well, they fly better that way. That's why they fly together. Building a good community based on sharing, learning together, and enjoying the fun work you do every day is extremely important. This is my first key learning from my career. Second, when it comes to learning, stick with your learning goals and persist. Most importantly, make smart goals, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound, and go for those goals. So, who is a superhero to me? Well, all of you. Yes, all of you who are watching this session are my superheroes, or you can easily become one. You don't need to have certain number of years of experience, nor should you have be developing your expertise in one particular area or platform within Dynamics 365 or Power Platform. None of this applies for being a true superhero. In my own thinking, a Dynamics 365, Power Platform, Azure, or Microsoft 365, or any technology superhero is one who thinks out of the box. Someone who has mastered the art of listening, someone who keeps their learning hat always on. So fellows, this really is super easy. Always try and out of the box in every situation, especially during your consulting experiences. Be a good listener, cultivate good listenings. Yes, it is an extremely important skill for consultants. And lastly, always keep your learning hat on. You all got it, I know. So before I introduce you to a real superhero of Dynamics 365 CE, let me share some resources, or infinity stones, as we say in our superhero language. So here it goes. Firstly, Microsoft Dynamics 365 site is really an excellent point of juncture for a number of other valuable resources, such as Tech Talks for a number of line of business applications within Dynamics 365, community videos, and so on. And I don't think many of you knew that they also have an academic community for higher education institutions. So on the bottom left, of course, Dynamics user group has been a really good source of truth when it came to finding solutions to issues and their solutions for a number of years for me. On the right-hand side, really valuable resource for business processes and standards is American Productivity and Quality Center, APQC resource library. All consultants watching right now, please do check it out. Few other nuggets of information here, such as this website called annualreports.com. Believe me, this really is a really useful link to find corporate information about a lot of publicly listed companies, which is very handy when you are preparing your consulting endeavors for publicly listed clients. Lastly, for anyone or everyone who is interested in keeping their learning hat on when it comes to business knowledge or keeping yourself up to date on industry updates, Harvard Business Review articles, McKinsey.com blogs, MarketWatch, and MarketLion Advantage are some amazing resources you must not miss out on. So now it's time for meeting a real superhero and a friend of mine for more than 20 years, Ali Khan. So take it away, Ali.
Thanks, Asim. Hello, folks. My name is Ali, and I'm Business Apps Practice Manager in Valrhona. And as you can see on your screen, this stunning picture, I live and work in Sydney. And Valrhona is an Australian-based, globally leading Dynamics partner. So what does a practice manager do? Well, I work with my team to design and develop and implement solutions in Dynamics, Power Apps, and Azure for our awesome customers and clients in various industries. I also do some solution weaving for our customers, which is called pre-sales, and I particularly focus on the design component of solutions, which is a role of solution architect. So this is my quick intro, but what I really want to share with you today is my journey. So on to my journey today. So my journey started with programming. I graduated from an engineering college, but I only really excelled in one programming language. That was C++. And then I joined a software company. First day of the job, I was assigned a project. I opened the source code, and it's all blurred for me. And the reason was, it was in Delphi. Ever heard of Delphi? It's like a cousin to Pascal programming language. Heard of Pascal? Never mind. The point is, those were very old programming languages. If you see that small icon on the left, that's Pascal, that's Delphi. So for me, what that meant is next 5 years were in trenches. I worked through those programming languages, learned them, practiced, delivered some solutions, and basically built some expertise around the C# and web technologies, JavaScript, and of course, Delphi and Pascal. And then 5 years, boom, something happened. Cloud computing arrived, right? And coincidentally, at the same time, I traveled and joined a new company, and I found myself in charge of running a project which was in Salesforce. And that was a total shift in terms of technology and also mindset, from desktop to cloud, from server to serverless. And so I did that for a few years, and then another traveling and the relocation, and I find myself working on something called Dynamics CRM 4.0. Many, many years later, I'm still doing the same. All that journey, exciting, being in trenches, toil and tears, but what that led me, it actually led me to these three amazing cities, and also got this amazing opportunity of setting up, building, and growing three technology practices in Salesforce, Dynamics CRM, and the new Dynamics 365 in 3 countries, in 3 different cities, and in 3 times in the last 12 years of my career. And I got this amazing opportunities of working with amazing community members, my colleagues, senior, juniors, and customers who I learned a lot from. But as Asim said, every journey has got its obstacles behind the scenes. Every magic comes with a price. So what were those challenges? What were the challenges that I faced in my career? I want to share those with you. And the reason I want to share those with you is so that maybe you're also facing those same challenges in your career. You may be also looking at the same obstacles. So for me, what was my first challenge? Confession here, I'm an introvert. So give me a problem, right? I can code up a solution. I know low code, no code, pro code. I can just make something for you. But tell me, Ollie, go sell something. I'm not a salesman. Or tell me, go into the room and negotiate something to a win for us. That's not my forte. I'm an introvert, admittedly. But I just know how to do the technical stuff very well, how to be an expert on the solutions, right? But isn't it consultancy is considered a profession where communication is of paramount importance? So how do I reconcile? How do I go from being good in technology to being good in as a consultant? That was my first challenge. Second thing, talk about all the new features arriving in terms of announcements on the blog post or Ignite or Embed. It's very exciting, isn't it? But there's always this underlying stress that, oh gosh, I need to learn this thing as well. It's another new thing, right? And then you start preparing that list of things to learn, and very quickly that list grows to infinity. So what do I do about it? Right? That was my second challenge. And then the third challenge that I had was, even if I somehow go through these obstacles of 1 and 2, how do I get recognition among all these so many amazing community members? How do I validate my skills? How do I get myself registered as somebody who knows Power Automate, who knows Dynamics supply chain, who knows Dynamics case management and customer service? How do I build that recognition around myself? Boom. What we want to share with you today is a superhero framework. And what that is, basically, Asim and I package all the good advices and all the suggestions which we got over the years from our mentors, from our juniors, from our seniors, from our customers, and put them into a box, and that we want to share with you today. So you ready for that? It's simply 1, 2, 3 formula. 1, what do superheroes really do? They make the world a better place. They do good things and they stop bad things happening in a project. That's what superheroes do. And how do they do that? They become really interested in you. And as somebody told me, a very wise man, that be interested to be interesting. So be interested in problem solving and be interested in finding solutions. What worked for me to go from a techie to a consultant is to go to customers and ask them in this very honest way, that what is the problem that you're facing? And they tell me problem. And then I go and do something in Dynamics, what used to be CRM, or do something, let's say, on the work order screen, or do something on the workflow. Just code something up and come back and show that to customer. And wow, some of the problems are resolved. Some of the problems are still there. And then there are new problems. And then I talk to some other customer, they are facing the same problems. But I know now what works and what doesn't work. So I can take those same solutions to them. And over time, what happens when you start doing that, you get this library of solutions and the problems. So you know if this problem surfaces, I've got these many solutions to suggest. And that's what good consultants do. So first thing, be genuinely interested in solving problems. Seek problems, actually. Go to events like this amazing event today. Go to Dynamics user group. Go to Dynamics community. Talk to people. Check what solutions are facing, and then what solutions they are getting against those problems. And then you can see what solution actually works and how does it work with different types of customer in different industry verticals, doing different types of businesses. And over time, all this inventory of solutions make you an amazing consultant. And also share what you learn. You see, setting up a WordPress website, I did myself, it took me 30 minutes. I haven't done that, but I've heard setting up a YouTube channel, that takes just 5 minutes. Just share all the good stuff that you learn, that you implement, that you play with, share with the amazing community. And that way, you will be the one who will be known as a person who's trying to make this world a better place through technology. Second, wear your capes. What does that mean? That means get validation around what you do best so that inspires confidence on your clients and your colleagues. If you are really an expert on, let's say, Dynamics commerce, then do certifications. Certifications used to be, let's say, different before, but now they're not easy. They're not walk in the park. They really covers the length and breadth of products. You've got to be knowing this stuff in order to pass those certifications. Some of the certifications are also time-bound now. So this is the time to do those certifications. Number 2, upgrade yourself. For those who are Dynamics, previously Dynamics CE professionals, we used to use workflows all the time. But maybe it's time to try out Power Automate Flow. Try with something simple, right? We all use, for example, Kingsway Soft for data migration. Maybe check what Azure Data Factory does, right? Upgrade yourself. Keep learning those new things. And hold on, that leads me to this problem of so many things to learn. The solution to that problem is, repeat after me, daily 1%. Never underestimate the power of compounding, as they say in finance and investing. What happens is, just learn one thing a day. Read an article, watch one video, just play with one feature, go through the Twitter feeds of MVPs and all the experts and just learn. Just do that for 5 minutes. Do this just once a day. You know what will happen if you are consistent over 365 days or a year? You will know 365 things more than everyone else. So daily 1% is that simple rule to just do one thing a day. Don't get overwhelmed with all the amazing things that you need to learn. You will learn them, but gradually. No one becomes a superhero in just a day. And you know what will happen then? Very soon, you will hear somebody saying, hey, that's the Wonder Woman of Dynamics Field Service. That's the Superman of Dynamics Financials. You will become a superhero. And why? Because people will know you are genuinely interested in solving their problems, both for customers and both for your practitioners and community members. Number two, you know the solution, you know the product, and you have wrote about it. You share your experience. So the sharing and validation will lead you to you incorporated, you being a superhero as a recognized expert on all these amazing products. So those were the challenges. And these were the solutions that we found from all these amazing mentors and colleagues and the practitioners. And the reason of sharing our journey, Asim and mine, was to you to be able to hopefully relate to those. You can look at these journeys from the Dynamics finance and apps versus Dynamics CE perspectives, or you can look at these journeys from the Dynamics consulting in terms of the functional track versus technical track. Every journey starts with a goal. It starts with the target that you're aiming towards. So choose your destiny. If I were doing this slide a couple of years back, it would be very boring. We will be just talking about Dynamics CRM developer and Dynamics AX developer, and maybe a consultant. That's all there was previously. But now, with this amazing things happening on the Microsoft ecosystem, this quickly and rapidly growing products, every week or two you get new updates. All these products are talking to each other. The entire growth of the product towards this low-code, no-code area, and also the expansion of the products in terms of them getting specific and tailored for different industries. This really, all of that has opened a lot of opportunities, and there are a lot of gaps in the market for you to basically go and fill that in and do amazing work to make the world a better place. I could not actually list down all the amazing roles that are there for you to fill up. But what we can do, we can categorize them in just these 5 areas. So I'm going to start with those 5 areas. The first one is Dynamics 365 or Power Apps developer. So who are you? You are the person who's given a requirement, you will come up with a solution. And you will know, should I be using low code, Azure Logic Apps maybe, or should I be using no code? Or should I be using properly code-based solutions, maybe Azure Function or plugins in Dynamics? You are the person who can understand the requirement and then basically develop a solution. The amazing thing about this role is it used to be limited, but now the length and breadth of this amazing role is huge. You will need time to basically really get expertise on all of those things which are possible in this entire ecosystem of Dynamics, Power Apps, and Azure. Also, this amazing role can also be a beginner's role. So if you're new to Dynamics, you can, and if you like to do technical things, Dynamics developer or Power Apps developer is probably a way to start. Second, integrations. We have got all these amazing products, and they also need to then talk to each other. So for example, if you're doing something on Dynamics Finance and Operations, you've got assets and you will service that assets, you need Dynamics Finance, and you also need probably Dynamics Field Service. If you are getting, you have got inventory, you may also need Dynamics Supply Chain. Now, all of these products need to talk to each other. Who will get them to talk to each other? You as an integration developer will know the whys and the whats and hows of the integration. So why and what is around the business requirement, but hows you would decide. You would decide which technology out of all these amazing options which are available in these entire ecosystem of Microsoft, what is a good fit? It's a good fit from the requirement perspective, it's a good fit from the licensing perspective, and it's a good fit from the durability and scalability of the solution in future. So those are developer roles. Thirdly, Functional consultants. Who are you? You are those amazing people who really master all these products. So you are solution specialists. You focus on and you have your expertise on, let's say, dynamics, finance, and operations. So you really know the ins and outs of the entire solution. You know how to implement it. You know how to get it tailored for different industry verticals. Or, for example, you are an expert in dynamic sales. So you know how to get the sales cycle configured for different types of customers. You know what are the best practices. You know what works and what doesn't work based on your experience. So functional consultants are people who talk to clients, they talk to customers, and then they map the customer requirements to what is available in the Dynamics products. They do this mapping, and they also help the developers to implement the solutions. And then you go to the next level. The next level is of architects. So there are two areas really in there. The first one is technical architect. So what happens is, as the Microsoft's footprint is increasing across different customers, most of the customers who even weren't on Microsoft, they were still using Microsoft AD, Active Directory, and what is now called Microsoft 365. And then they expand from there. They go, if they need ERP, they go to Dynamics Finance and Operations and Supply Chain, or if they are working towards their customer service and sales and those processes, they work towards getting the Dynamics sales and customer service and field service up and running. And then what happens is they also got those all line of business solutions, their other applications, maybe other ERPs, SAP, Oracle, right? You as a technical architect looks at the entire ecosystem, entire landscape of your customer, and then you come up with a solution. You also come up with a solution in terms of what our solution would look like. So for example, you may say, we are going to use Azure Service Bus for the integration, and you would have your reasons for that. So technical architects basically oversees the entire technical aspect of the implementations. Solution architect, on the other hand, does do that, some part of that, but also understand the functional part. The solution architect understands the dynamics, field service dynamics, finance dynamics, supply chain, if not at the entire depth of it, but at least having the sufficient knowledge so that you can make a call that if customer is looking for something, we will do a combo solution of dynamics, field service, and dynamics finance. Or you might say, no, that's fine, we will just use dynamics BC for this requirement. Right, Business Central. So you understanding the functional aspect of the solution and also having some exposure to technology, you're able to make the solutions for customers which are durable, which are scalable, and which works for the customer for a long term. So choose your journey, choose one of those tracks, and then start your journey today. Journey towards you being a superhero. And this is now that segment of our talk today where we will talk about the Infinity Stones. And I'm going to be focusing on the non-ERP first-party apps of Dynamics, what used to be called previously, it's changed terminology again, but it used to be called Dynamics CE. So I've got three things here. First, if you are learning a new technology, a new product, for example, you want to give a AI Builder a try. How you kind of use AI Builder to maybe automatically scan and understand which asset is it. And you're doing this for, let's say, for Dynamics Supply Chain and Dynamics Field Service. How do I start? I would argue the best place to start is Microsoft Learn and Microsoft Docs. That is official source as well, but that's spectacular in the sense that they have got everything in the sense which can help you in learning. So they have got how-tos, they have got sample code, they have got videos, they have got the product documentation. Everything is in that one source. They also have got those amazing tracks. So for example, I was trying to figure out what's Dynamics connected to store. And if you go there, they've got a track. So I do not even have to understand what do I need to learn. I just need to start learning through the track, and it will lead me to the sufficient understanding around the product. So Microsoft Learn and Microsoft Doc is an amazing place. It's also the most updated one. So it's very rare now. It's getting more and more rarer that you go to Dynamics Docs and you find something which is actually an obsolete information. So they also make sure that once they get the new features out, the Microsoft development team, they also update the documentation around it, which is amazing. Secondly, you understand the technology, you understand the product, but I now go to the next level of understanding. I now want to build my expertise to the next level. How do I do that? Two things. One, join the amazing communities, join user group, go to your local user groups, go to Dynamics community, see what people are talking about. Based on your experience over time, you will be able to suggest answers. Other people will also come up with solutions, and then you can see which solution is working and which is not. If it's a better solution, be humble, add that into your library. If it's a new problem that you haven't seen before, add that into your inventory, and then find solutions for it. Over time, you will have this amazing inventory in your head or in your notes application where you have got all these problems and all these solutions, and you would just be able to get the best solution to your customers. Okay, and then the third thing, this is a little bit new thing. So as the Dynamics products are getting updated and going through this rapid cycle of evolution, a lot of new things are being developed and being worked upon and are being released each year. There are two major release wave cycles every year. I would suggest to go through the document, be on top of that. And why I'm suggesting that, what will happen once you go through the documents, you will understand the pattern. You will get to know which areas of these products are getting investment from Microsoft. They're getting enhanced. They're getting to do what they were not able to do before. And then you will also be able to identify a few things which are just left behind. Maybe they are on the way of deprecation. Maybe they will not be supported anymore. So once you have the information, you will be able to make solutions for your customers which will be durable. You will be using the technology which will work in future for them for years to come. Or you may be able to say that, hey, we do not want to customize this for you because you will get this out of the box in 2 months. And out of the box solutions are always better for a variety of reasons. So be on top of the release of documents and understand how licensing works. I hope this infinity stance really get ahead in your journey towards being an amazing superhero. All the best. And I'll now go back to Asim.
So in today's session, we shared our own stories, insights, our challenges, our learnings, and our journey. But really, it is all about you, emphasizing the importance of learning, the power of sharing, building communities and being part of communities, contributing in those tech communities. And lastly, as Ali, my friend, shared in his superhero framework, keep improving 1% every day. So are you ready to be the next superhero for Microsoft platform of choice, or simply anything that inspires you? In order to do that, keep sharing, keep building communities, keep on empowering others within those communities. We all need to do our share for helping others upskill in these turbulent and challenging times. Thank you everyone for joining us. And I hope you enjoyed this session with me, Asim Afridi, and my longtime friend, Ali Khan. Feel free to connect with us on social media, Twitter, LinkedIn, wherever you would like. And most importantly, be the next superhero. I can't wait for all of you to unravel your own superpowers. All the best.
I would also like to thank here the amazing Dynamics Con event to bring us together here and making us able to talk to you here. I'm really looking forward to answering your questions and answers.
Hey Ali, how are you?
Hi Asim, how you going?
Good. Did you enjoy our session? I loved it. I mean, recording.
Yeah, I love seeing myself.
Amazing. So yeah, it's exciting to kick off this CE track. Alongside Ali Khan. This is Asim Afridi. Welcome to you to this event, Dynamics Con 2021, and we are really excited to have you here in our journey of learning, sharing. So just to kick off, and I have a question for you, Ali. So I think, and I noticed it kind of indirectly asked or discussed during the chat during our session. I mean, how to keep up with like so much updates, ongoing regular updates coming from Microsoft, releases, this plethora of knowledge. I mean, coming in from various sources. How do you keep up? Do you want to share your own 2 cents on that bit? How to keep up with all that knowledge, all that tremendous amount of updates coming in constantly.
Yeah, Asim, that's an excellent question. And I say I think my thinking is the productivity system of all of us differs based on how our mind works and what tools works for us. But generally speaking, the way I see it, and that's just me, but I want to share that. For me, information collection and information consumptions are just two different things. So, for example, recently Scottish Summit happened, and then Ignite happened, and this amazing event at Dynamics Con is happening. The end of that, there's so many content out there. So what I do, what works for me, is I go through if events are happening, then I just go through talks, and then I also have bookmarked blogs of different Microsoft products. So that's very easy. Basically, you just can Google Dynamics 365, Teams, Power Apps, Power Automate, all of those. And then you can find Microsoft's blogs. And then you can just, if you're on Edge, you can just add them in collection. Or if you're on Chrome, you can just bookmark them. And then once a week or daily, however you want to do that, I just go there and open all the websites and I see what's new. And then I just basically collect them first. So what for me, collection is one of those read it later tools, like you can use Pocket or you can use Instapaper. So you can just bookmark them. And that's what I do. And then I reserve an hour in my calendar for every week or every 2 weeks to just go and start listening or start reading. And when I'm doing that, I actually keep notes with me. So if something amazing has happened, then I will just keep a note. If it's something that's just a FYI for me, then I would just try to remember and may not note it. It depends on if it relates to something that I work on a day-to-day basis. So that's just my productivity system on how to basically cope up with all the information that's coming across all the Dynamics product. What do you do?
Yeah, I mean, same. I mean, as you highlighted, absolutely, that's really well useful. I think kind of. I mean, yesterday I was listening to a podcast, and I want to share that insight that I got from that podcast yesterday. So there was a mention of, and I'm sure it's a blog by some well-known blogger in the community. I can't recall the name, but they mentioned the online. They kind of mentioned having a online brain or some sort of like electronic brain for your knowledge. Because I mean, I coming from F&O as a background, you can't have all the knowledge in your head all the time. So it's good to, as you mentioned, it's good to keep bookmarks. It's great to keep kind of building a repository for yourself and keep sharing that in the form of blogs, podcasts, however you want to share. I mean, wherever you want to, you want to do sessions, you want to write blogs, you want to, you want to do your podcast, you want to write articles on LinkedIn or elsewhere. I mean, share it however you want to share it, but keep building that like an electronic repository of like bits and nuggets of information that that are related to your own expertise and area of expertise. So, yep, these are my 2 cents. But absolutely, as you said, to keep this recorded and doing this as an effort, it's really helpful. So we have quite a few questions I'm noting on Umbrella. So first of all, there's a question from Heidi. What did you pick for your focus to become superheroes? Do you want to go first?
Well, yeah, I think that this is an excellent. Yeah. Sorry.
You can hear me?
Yeah, sure, I can. Yeah, for me, it sort of relates to there's so many things happening in the Dynamics world, so you really have to pick and choose. For me, it's basically what was formerly Dynamics CE. So Dynamics field service, customer service, sales. That's really I try to make it my forte, and some of Dynamics marketing as well. So that's sort of my territory.
Awesome. There's another question. From Marjorie. So thank you for your comment, Marjorie. And what was the biggest career mistake you made that led you to become being a superhero? So yeah, I can go on that first. I think, um, and as I highlighted in the presentation, I mean, the initiation of my career and which track to choose, where to go, whether to be a functional consultant or to be a developer or even be a technical consultant, all of that shaped very organically for me, honestly. And I'm sure for most people it does shape in that way. So if you call that mistake, that I started off as a .NET intern, but soon, I mean, I explored a BA or functional consulting related role, and I never wanted to go back to the dungeon. I mean, so that, yeah, that's if you call that mistake, that was the mistake for you, me. What's your take?
I think my take, I mean, a little bit goes back to my story. So starting as a techie, I just got this mindset to look everything from a technical perspective. So if you throw me a challenge and I would say, okay, can I write code for it? And, or can I just quickly do some workflows or something like that? And I realized that that's the business part of the problem is basically the key thing. I mean, that trying to understand what is the customer looking for is sometimes it's not articulated in the same way. And you just got to explore it more. You just have to understand it more before just jumping onto the code. I think that was one of the fundamental learning. And I still have to, honestly, I have to have sometimes just remind myself that even now, something just comes up and then you have to see that why and what's happening actually. So that functional part of the solution, especially because all the business apps products of Dynamics, they've got a lot of business behind them, right? So I think that keeping that in view, I think that's the key to making good solutions. And if I'm not doing it, then that's a big mistake from my perspective.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's great. Thank you for sharing that. Just another question from Robert that I'm seeing in the chat for you. So, what are the top 5 things that are new within the last couple of years that are most important to catch up on in CE or Power Platform? And there's a long list. Do you want to mention any notable ones?
Oh, well, there's so many.
Yeah.
So I basically work more on Dynamics field service. So I'm a little bit biased on that side. So there have been tremendous investment has gone into these products. So many amazing features. But I think for me, if I try to just name 5 of them, I think having Power Automate being the core part of Dynamics and the way Power Platform and Dynamics works and plays together, I think that has opened a lot of opportunities. A lot of projects that I work on now, they are hybrid projects. So there has got something in Dynamics, but also got something from Power Apps. So I think that is that I think that's a big thing. Um, I may want to probably then second or third, I will just mention things which are related to Dynamics Field Service specifically. So in Dynamics Field Service, it's a part of Dynamics family, and that product basically helps the sales and service-oriented organizations to have a system for their field force, be it frontline workers or be it the people who are working for utility companies, all those industries. And there have been tremendous investment has gone into that product from where it started and where it is now. It has got a new mobile app, it has got a new schedule board, it's a scheduling engine, it's got an AI engine as well there, which is called RSO. I think those are some of the amazing things. And then if I go a little bit, zoom out, I would probably mention the capability of using PCF control within Dynamics. So previously, if you're not happy with the Dynamics screen, and if you want to do something, your only option was to do basically web resource, which has still you can do. It's got its pros and cons, but PCF and being able to do that, I think that was a major game changer.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Have I lost count, or is it already 5?
Yeah, exactly. Your country is right. And for me, I mean, there's tons that Ali mentioned in last couple of years, as Rob asked. I mean, sales insights, AI builder and power platform, whatnot. I mean, there's tons of updates coming in these uh, platforms, I would say, because these are really platforms to build something new. I mean, Power Platform has the capability to let you integrate, let you, I mean, view data, let you, I mean, connect data sources or between applications. That's, I mean, your imagination is the limit, right? There. So these are few which I can like recall right now. But I mean, AI Builder and Power Platform, please do check out that Sales Insights within CE. So that's amazing as well. Just another quick question because we have few other questions as well. So thank you for your comment, Jasmine. Um, how to stay on top of, and that's another question from Robert Bailey, how to stay on top of upcoming events and apply to speak or share. That's a great question. Do you want to go first?
Well, I do not claim to be an expert in this area. For
Yeah.
me, what works is to basically follow the other superheroes of the community, um, mostly MVPs and even non-MVPs. I am more a Twitter person than a LinkedIn person. So a lot of events I actually discover on my Twitter feed, but that's just how I do that. And I think Power Community website, I think that also is one place we can see upcoming events. And then most of the events have got the call for a speaker. So what I do personally, I've got few talks that I've got in my notes section, in my notes. And so they are there. And when I'm just going into corporate speakers, I can just basically copy and paste rather than thinking new what I can speak about. So yeah, that's just what I do.
Yep. I agree with what Ali said. I mean, connect with people on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is just an amazing source of connect with millions of people, and especially, I mean, connect with those who are like in your area, and I mean, learn from them. I mean, share your knowledge with them, learn from them. That's an exciting way to get started, Robert. So, in order to keep up to date, and how do we keep up to date on top of like upcoming events? For example, Ali mentioned Scottish Summit happened. There was a Power Platform bootcamp happening all over the regions. I mean, across the globe. I think in Feb. So again, you need to be connect with people. Most importantly, I think the best way, the best general way I can highlight is connect with people in the community. I mean, someone will like some update regarding an upcoming event. Some will share. I usually try to do share these updates on LinkedIn, especially. So I'm a LinkedIn person. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, and I can send you some specific pointers. There's a summit coming in. Dynamics Con and Dynamics User Group is an exciting community that has. I mean, I know they have some upcoming plans which are absolutely amazing for learning and sharing. So yeah, connect with people most importantly in the community, and that will get you started. Um, Another question that is, and I know we have to be cognizant of time. So from Hasib Jamshed, there's a question: how to overcome the situation where your company still working on C projects mostly and not getting any practical hands-on due to nature of projects? Probably so the way I understand is this question is uh, sometimes you don't get too hands-on on projects. How you can how you can keep up to date and keep yourself going while keeping your technical touch alive. That's how I read that question. Do you have any say there?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's my interpretation as well. And Hasib, I think I'll just share with you what I do. So there's so many amazing products in Dynamics family now, and I was trying to count, and I think Asim was telling me it's around 30. The point is, you may not get chance to work on all of these amazing Dynamics products in your job, right? But but maybe you may get an opportunity sometime in future. So it's all about being ready for it. And so, for example, for me, dynamics marketing was totally new for me a few months before, I think a couple of months back. I knew the old dynamics marketing, but not the new one. And so what I did was two things. One, I spin off a trial environment. And B, I just followed the dynamics learning track. And we mentioned dynamics learning track because that is probably the best source to go and follow a proper journey from A to Z, and it's got the latest updated content, and it really takes you through the proper way of how you should be using the product. And once you are properly through the learning track, you would know enough about the product that when you get a chance to work on that, you will be ready for it. Right. So for me, it's just these two things: get a try environment, and then follow the Microsoft learning track.
That's that's fabulous. I am trying to like keep myself up to date on Power Platform these days, and just to share with everyone. And yeah, that's what I do. I mean, we all, that's how you can keep up to date on exciting updates, and at the pace at which they are coming, and being augmented in our platform and the platform we work for. So there's another question from John Stiles. For myself, is there a standard career journey to become superhero, or you would say that an unconventional path is the best? Oh yeah. So I will on a lighter note. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, unconventional paths are difficult. You need to figure that out yourself, where to go, how to pave that path, and go on that and build that journey. And that's one way to go as well, John. Absolutely, to answer your question. But yeah, connecting with mentors, it's really important. So I will answer this question in maybe this frame, that connecting with good mentors, it's it's the most amazing thing that happened to me in my career. So relating with your question, so connecting with mentor didn't really necessarily mean that it was a standard path for me. I could, I think that's what I think, and I realize when I reflect on that. I frame my path, I design my path in my own way, taking my own, um, uh, decisions for which way to go during the course of my career. But those mentors did what those mentors did. They provided, I mean, tons of inspiration. What to learn, how to keep your soft skills, I mean, up to date, polished. Where what else to learn? I mean, besides the technical frames of and technical areas of knowledge that we have. So having a mentor does give you an inspiration to keep learning. What you learn and what path do you select? It's really, I mean, obviously it has to be a choice of your own. Like I did that choice on my own. I have been in F&O for last more than a decade, and I love being in that in that line of business application. Actually, line of business applications, as we should say. So yeah, there's no standard path, I would say. Um, um, but having mentors does help a lot. Do you have any say, Ali, on that?
No, I totally agree with you. That's being having a mentor that really helps. And I actually also was just noticing time that we're almost at the end of the session. So thanks for watching. But the conversation can continue on LinkedIn, on Twitter. Feel free to connect. And thanks for joining. And thanks for
Yep.
watching.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone who joined. Keep learning, keep sharing. You all are superheroes, as we said in our session. Keep being part of a community. Keep sharing in community that we have. Yep, the conversation goes on LinkedIn, Twitter, elsewhere. Thank you.
Thank you.